Welcome to another daily reading, Genesis 21 and Matthew 21. I read from the Institute for Scripture Research, the ISR, because it takes a direct translation from Hebrew to English, Greek to English, and Aramaic to English. Yah is the Elohim of the heavens and the earth, the first and the last and the only. And he's an extremely jealous El. He's so jealous that he doesn't even want the names of idols or mighty ones to come to our lips. And Yah is short for YahWeh, YahWeh, Yod-He, Vav-He. It's like saying Dan, Daniel, Daniel with an E. What is the difference and does matters when people say that Phil, Bob, Sam, and Aaron are the same name? When no, they're not, and no one in their right mind would ever believe that, and only a fool would believe that a hammer can force its creator to do anything. And there was no letter J in the Hebrew, Greek, or Aramaic text because the letter J is about 600 years old, while the son of Elohim, Yahushua, the Messiah, sweat blood and was brutally murdered on a stake for the sins of all of humanity, and resurrected on the third day for the sins of all of humanity over 2,000 years ago. And a direct translation from Hebrew to English, Yeshua, short for Yahoshua, is Joshua. And the son of Elohim's name, Yahshua, or Yahoshua, means Yah is salvation. Jesus is Greek for Hail Zeus. Yahshua is Hebrew. The word says that Israel is the Hebrew tribe of Israel, the 12 Hebrew tribes of Israel. Not to mention when they eventually came out with their own little languages that were still tied to Hebrew, of course, because Hebrew was their main language. Jude, or Yehuda, took and kept, by the way, Hebrew, which is where the Messiah came from, the Messiach, Hebrew. The word is literally 90% Hebrew, and anyone who says otherwise should reread the word, because the word itself says that it was Hebrew, not Greek. It's not the 12 Greek tribes, it's the 12 Hebrew tribes. Every single one of them was a Hebrew tribe of the Hebrew tribe of Israel. They all spoke Hebrew. So the entire first writings is Hebrew, guaranteed 100%. Anyone who says otherwise is a fool. The word clearly says Hebrew tribe of Israel. Just because you read from the KJV version, King James's version. Anyways, let's get into this. Genesis 21. And YahWeh visited Sarah, Sarah, as he had said, and YahWeh did for Sarah as he had spoken. So Sarah conceived and bore Abraham, A-B with a line underneath of it, R-A-H-A-M, a son in his old age at the appointed time of which Elohim had spoken to him. And Abraham called the name of his son who was born to him from Sarah, whom Sarah bore to him, Yitzhak, Y-I-T-S-H with a dot A-Q, and Abraham circumcised his son Yitzhak when he was 8 days old, as Elohim had commanded him. Excuse me. Circumcision is no longer physical, it's spiritual. Those works only people are stuck in the fact that they believe that there wasn't an exile, and that it's still the same 12 tribes that are the only ones that will ever get saved. Because Yah didn't actually go out to the rest of the world, because that means the rest of the world would be saved too. But no, that's you can't think that. That contradicts your own belief. You either believe in only the Torah, which by the way the exile is not in there, or you believe in the word as a whole. Or you're one of those pick and choose type. And the pick and choose type are still going down, just like the greasy gracers, just like the works only. You're in the same boat. I think Yahweh says over 7,000 times to follow his word. Follow his commands. Do not throw them out. And if you throw them out, you're throwing out your own salvation. And Abraham was 100 years old when his son Yitzhak was born to him, and Sarah said, Elohim has made me laugh, and everyone who hears of it laughs with me. And she said, who would have said to Abraham that Sarah would nurse children? For I have borne him a son in his old age. And the child grew and was weaned, and Abraham made a great feast on the day that Yitzhak was weaned. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar, H-A-G with a line on top of it, A-R, the Mitzrite, M-I-T-S-R-I-T-E, whom she had borne to Abraham, mocking, Sarah is a piece of garbage, who treats people like a piece of garbage. Treat others the way you'd like to be treated. She wants to be treated like a piece of garbage because she treats people like a piece of garbage. So she said to Abraham, drive out this female servant and her son, for the son of this female servant shall not inherit with my son with Yitzhak. And the matter was very evil in the eyes of Abraham because of his son. But Elohim said to Abraham, let it not be evil in your eyes because of the boy and because of your female servant. Whatever Sarah has said to you, listen to her voice, for in Yitzhak your seed is called. That being said, she's still a piece of garbage because she treats other people like a piece of garbage. Treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Which is why I've changed it up a little bit. I believe that treat others the way you should be treated was with the utmost respect. Because nowadays, literally, people just want to be treated like a piece of garbage. Because they literally treat people like a piece of garbage. And Abraham rose early in the morning and took bread and a skin of water. There's two of them, and he gave a skin. 2 skins, 2 people. That's fair to me. Don't know about you. Like, you're sending them into the wilderness, into the desert. Give them each a bottle of water. My goodness. The disrespect. That's a human life you're sending into the desert, basically to die. You're giving each of them like a quarter of water, and maybe the rest of it will get dried up. And Abraham rose early in the morning and took bread and a skin of water, and a skin of water which he gave to Hagar, putting it on her shoulder, also the boy, and sent her away, and she left and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba, B-E' with a half a check mark, R-S-H-E-B with a line underneath of it, A. Wilderness of Beersheba, I believe is the name. And the water in the skin was used up, and she placed the boy under one of the shrubs, and she went and sat down about a bow shot away, for she said, let me not see the death of the boy. And she sat opposite him and lifted her voice and wept. Now, a bow shot away, in my opinion, is probably about 50 yards, give or take. Not exactly the best eyesight in the world. I'd probably see him at about 50 yards. After that, yeah, I'm also like talking about where I'm from too. There's a lot of trees, but I guess what I mean is it's more easy for something to blend in where I live than out in the desert. That being said, if there was a camel out in the desert, I probably wouldn't see it because they're roughly the same color as each other. It would probably just blend straight in and it would just go right over my head. Anyways. And Elohim heard the voice of the boy, and the messenger of Elohim called to Hagar from the heavens and said to her, by the way, it's a lowercase m, it's no longer Yahushua Messiah that talked to her. Yahushua Messiah came the first time to talk to her, but this is just an actual messenger. And Elohim heard the voice of the boy and called, and the messenger of Elohim called to Hagar from the heavens and said to her, what is the matter with you, Hagar? Do not fear, for Elohim has heard the voice of the boy where he is. Arise, lift up the boy, and hold him with your hand, for I make a great nation of him. If she had gone just a little bit further, man, she would have found that well. Anyways, and Elohim opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water, and she went and filled the skin with water, and gave the boy a drink. And Elohim was with the boy, and he grew and dwelt in the wilderness, and became an archer, and he dwelt in the wilderness of Paran, P-A-R-A-N. Wilderness of Paran is the name, I'm pretty sure, just because it's a capital W in wilderness. And his mother took a wife for him from the land of Mitzrayim, which is Egypt, M-I-T-S-R-A-Y-I-M, and it came to be at that time that Abimelech, A-B with a line underneath of it, I-M-E-L-E-K with a line underneath of it, and Pickle, P-I-K with a line underneath of it, O-L, the commander of his army, spoke to Abraham, saying, Elohim is with you in all that you do. And now swear to me by Elohim not to be untrue to me, to my offspring, or to my descendants. Do to me according to the loving commitment that I have done to you and to the land in which you have sojourned. And Abraham said, I swear. Abimelech should swear too, because he is like so incompetent he doesn't even know what his servants are doing. How do you not have someone you can trust standing over them so that you know what they're doing? How do you have nobody you can trust? That's pathetic. It's time to wipe the slate clean and start over. The commander of his army spoke to Abraham, saying, Elohim is with you in all that you do. Oh, yeah. Oh, I swear. And Abraham reproved Abimelech because of a well of water which Abimelech's servants had seized. So he just reproved him, that's all. I reproved someone the other day and I got booted permanently from the group. It was funny. But it was so sad that someone with gray hair would act like such a child. Age, as the word would say, does not mean maturity. And Abimelech said, I do not know who has done this deed, neither did you inform me, nor did I hear until today. So Abraham took sheep and cattle and gave them to Abimelech, and the two of them made a covenant, and Abraham set 7 ewe lambs of the flock by themselves. And Abimelech asked Abraham, what are these 7 ewe lambs which you have set by themselves? By themselves? And he said, take these 7 ewe lambs from my hand to be my witness that I have dug this well. So he called that place Beersheba, because the two of them swore an oath there. Thus they made a covenant at Beersheba, and Abimelech rose with Pickle, the commander of his army, and they returned to the land of the Philistines, Philistines, and he planted a tamarisk, Tamarisk tree in Beersheba, and there called on the name of Yahweh, not the name of God, the pagan idol of fortune. There is only one God, and that is the pagan idol of fortune. His name is Yahweh. He is a creator, the creator of the heavens and the earth. He's not some low-life God. That's literally a mockery to him. If you know better and you still call him that, that's pathetic. Like people who they'll still say, oh, look, I know his name is Yahshua, but I still call him Jesus. Oh, did you know that that is literally Greek for Hail Zeus? Not to mention Asus is 4 different deities combined, including Zeus. What if that screams Yahshua Messiah? What if that says Yah will save his people from their sins? Jesus doesn't mean that. And it's not the 12 Greek tribes of Israel. It's the 12 Hebrew tribes of Israel. And he planted a tamarisk tree in Beersheba, and there called on the name of Yahweh, the everlasting El, E with a half a check mark, El. And Abraham sojourned in the land of the Philistines many days. 22 is a really good one, which is why I'm going to make another video today, for tomorrow, of course, but I'm going to upload it today. Matthew 21. And when they came near to Jerusalem, Yerushalayim, and came to Bethphage, Beth is B-E with a half a check mark, Y-T-H, and Phagi is P-H-A-G with the line on top of it, I, at the Mount of Olives. Then Yahushua sent 2 taught ones, saying to them, go into the valley opposite you, and straightway you shall find a donkey tied and a colt with her. Loosen them, fancy English, them, so both of them, and bring them to me. The cool thing about the Mount of Olives, I mean, cool or not, depends on who you are. I find this stuff very cool, so that's why I find it cool. But the Mount of Olives, when Yahushua steps down, he's going to split the Mount of Olives just by sheer force. It won't even be like it's not like he intentionally split the mountain. It's just when he steps down, the mountain's going to split. And just because he says that there's going to be many earthquakes and many of this and many of that, and it's just going to be overwhelming, it doesn't mean he makes it happen. He's just saying this is going to happen. And I just want to point out that America has been literally, maybe not their government, I'm pretty sure it's just more, this is more of a corporation thing. It's corporations against humanity. That's literally what it is. And these corporations are in many, many, many countries. But those same corporations can eventually be put back into America's hands, which goes back to Israel's hands, which goes back to Babel's hands. Because Babel exiled 10 tribes of Israel. Assyria only exiled 2 tribes. Either way, they both exiled tribes. Until Yahushua returns. So when America pays daily billions of dollars to Israel for rent, I guess you could call that, that means that they're owned by Israel, who's owned by Babel. So when we're under attack by America, we're actually under attack by Babel, because Babel owns Israel, who owns America. And the Mount of Olives, when he steps down, is going to split in 2. Oh yes, in America, the corporations, they've been able to create hurricanes, they've been able to create earthquakes, they've been able to create volcanoes. So when all this stuff goes all over the world, I just want you to know that it's more than likely a corporation thing making it happen. Yah didn't say that he would make it happen, he just said this stuff is going to happen. Then Yahushua sent 2 taught ones, saying to them, Go into the valley opposite you, and straightway you shall find it, and loose him, and bring them to me. And if anyone says whatever to you, you shall say, The master needs them, and immediately he shall send them. And all this took place that it might be filled what was spoken by the prophet, saying, Say to the daughter of Sion, Sion, which I hear Zion, see, your sovereign is coming to you. Sovereign, capital S, sovereign is coming to you, meek and sitting on a donkey, with even a colt, the foal of a donkey. Foal. I'm butchering that so bad, and it's a 4-letter word. Foal, I believe. F-O-A-L. A baby donkey. And the taught ones went, and having done as Yahushua ordered them, they brought the donkey and the colt, and laid their garments on them, and he sat on them. And most of the crowd spread their garments on the way, while others cut down branches from the trees and spread them on the way. And the crowds who went before and those who followed cried out, saying, Hoshia na Hoshia-Na to the son of David, David with a line underneath of it, which is David. Blessed is he who is coming in the name of YahWeh, not in the name of the pagan idol of fortune, but in the name of YahWeh. Hoshia-Na in the highest. And as he entered into Jerusalem, all the city was stirred, saying, Who is this? Jerusalem is Yerushalayim. I can't remember if I already said that, but saying again. Now I know it's confirmed. And the crowd said, This is Yahushua the prophet from Nazareth, Natsareth of Galil, Galil. Because as a child, he went there and he grew up there. He wasn't born there, but he went there as a child and grew up there. And I mean a child, he was super, super tiny. He was a little homie. And the crowd said, and Yahushua went into the set-apart place of Elohim and drove out all those buying and selling in the set-apart place, and overturned the tables of the money changers and the seats of those who sold doves. And he said to them, It has been written, My house shall be called a house of prayer, but you have made it a den of robbers. And blind and lame ones came to him in the set-apart place, and he healed them. But when the chief priests and scribes saw the wonders which he did, and the children crying out in the set-apart place, and saying, Hosanna to the Son of David, they were greatly displeased, and said to him, Do you hear what these say? And Yahushua said to them, Yes. Have you never read, Out of the mouth of babes and nurslings you have perfected praise? And having lifted them, he went out. And having left them, he went out of the city of Beth-Anah. Beth, and then Anah is A-N-Y-A-H, Anya, A-N-Y-A-H, and spent the night there. And returning to the city early in the morning, he became hungry, and seeing a single fig tree. Sorry, those letters just got all mungled up there. And seeing a single fig tree by the way, he came to it and found not, N-A-U-G-H-T, so nothing on it, but leaves, and said to it, Let no fruit grow on you ever again. And immediately the fig tree withered. And the taught ones, seeing it, marveled, saying, How did the fig tree wither so soon? The weird part is the fig tree was out of season, so of course it wouldn't have any. It just doesn't make sense to wither something that is out of season. But I'm pretty sure he was doing it for the taught ones. And Yahushua answering said to them, Truly I say to you, if you have belief and do not doubt, you shall not only do what was done to the fig tree, but even if you say to this mountain, Be removed and be thrown into the sea, it shall be done. And whatever you ask in prayer, believing, you shall receive. Believing, you shall receive. And when he had come into the set-apart place, the chief priests and the elders of the people came to him as he was teaching, and said, By what authority are you doing these? And who gave you this authority? And Yahushua answering said to them, I shall ask you one question too, which if you answer me, I also shall say to you by what authority I do these. The immersion of Yohanan, Y-O-H with a dot, A-N-A-N, which is John. Where did it come from? From heaven or from men? Oh man, they don't answer the question either, because either, if they were to say either or, they would either get stoned, more than likely, or they would look like fools. But their silence is enough proof of how foolish they are. And anyone hearing Yahushua ask that question and listening to their silence knows that they're fools. So they reasoned among themselves, saying, If we say from heaven, he shall say to us, Then why did you not believe him? But if we say from men, we fear the crowd, for all hold Yohanan as a prophet. And they answered Yahushua and said, We do not know, liars. And he said to them, Neither do I say to you by what authority I do these, but what do you think? A man had 2 sons, and he came to the first and said, Son, go work today in my vineyard. And he answering said, I do not wish to, but afterwards he repented and went. And having come to the second, he said similarly, and he answering said, I go, master. Fancy English, I go, master, which means he's going to do it. But he did not go. Which of the 2 did the desire of the Father, the one doing his will? They said to him, the first. Yahushua said to them, Truly I say to you, tax collectors and whores are entering into the reign of Elohim before you. Tax collectors and whores are entering into the reign of Elohim before you. For Yohanan came to you in the way of righteousness, and you did not believe him, but tax collectors and whores believed him. And when you saw it, you did not repent afterwards to believe him. Hear another parable. There was a certain man, a householder, who planted a vineyard and placed a hedge around it and dug a winepress in it and built a watchtower, and he leased it to farmers and went abroad. And when the season of the fruits drew near, he sent his servants to the farmers to receive its fruit. And the farmers took his servants and beat one and killed one, and they stoned another. I'm assuming that means they killed another. They killed two, and they beat one. Again, he sent other servants more than the first, and they did likewise to them. And at last he sent his son to them, saying, "They shall respect my son." But when the farmers saw the son, they said among themselves, "This is the heir. Come, let us kill him, and let us possess his inheritance." And they took him and threw him out of the vineyard and killed him. Therefore, when the master of the vineyard comes, what shall he do to those farmers? Kill them. The master is YahWeh, by the way, and the messengers are us people going to the word who are going to be killed. But in this sense, it's the people who had already gone out of their way, like the prophets and stuff before the exile and all that stuff, and they were all just killed. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what this is talking about. They said to him, "Evil ones, he shall bring them to evil destruction and lease the vineyard to other farmers who shall give to him the fruits of their seasons." That's exactly what YahWeh did by sending Yahushua Messiah to sweat blood and be brutally murdered for our sins, so that they basically did that for the entire world, because the first farmers, aka the 12 tribes, didn't do it. They didn't follow his word. They just threw it in the garbage and did what they wanted. Yahushua said to them, Did you never read in the scriptures, the stone which the builders rejected has become the chief cornerstone? That's Yahushua Messiah, the chief cornerstone. This was from YahWeh, and it is marvelous in our eyes. That's a question. Because of this I say to you, the reign of Elohim shall be taken from you and given to a nation bringing forth the fruits of it, and he who falls on this stone shall be broken, but on whomever it falls he shall be pulverized. And the chief priests and Pharisees, having heard his parables, knew that he was speaking of them. They better know better. And seeking to lay hands on him, they feared the crowds, seeing they held him to be a prophet. HalleluYah.